Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, we're going to be going in depth into 3 running backs that I do not love for fantasy football 2023 right now. These are 3 running backs that, based upon current average draft position, I am looking to avoid in my fantasy football draft. Now, this video is being recorded in late March. Free agency is still swimming on, right? It's still going on. The NFL draft hasn't even happened yet, and we are still ways away from late August or early September when you do your fantasy football drafts, but this is just a preliminary and early look into ADP and some running backs that I'm looking to avoid right now. But before we could get into things, I would like to ask that if you guys are new to the channel and you do end up enjoying today's video, that you please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. And while you're down there, whether you are new to the channel or not, please make sure that you do leave a like on today's video. It would help me out a ton. If you want to follow me on Twitter, please do so at NotoriousFantasy. So without further ado, let's get into 3 way too early running backs that I do not love. 3 early running backs that I am looking to avoid right now in March. Again, this list could be drastically different come late August or early September because average draft positions are going to move and injuries are going to happen as well. So at number 1, we have Kenneth Walker, running back of the Seattle Seahawks, current ADP running back 6 at pick 22.5. Last year, Kenneth Walker played in 15 games with 11 games started because to start off the year, Rachaad was the starting running back for the Seahawks. He finished the year as the RB 16.5 PPR and the running back 14.5 PPR points per game, tied with Ramondre Stevenson. In those 15 games played, he had 228 carries, 15.2 per game, ranking 11th at running back, 1,051 rushing yards, 70.1 per game, number 11 at RB, 35 targets, 2.3 per game, 34th, 27 receptions, 1.8 per game, 33rd, 165 receiving yards, 11 per game, 42nd, and 9 total touchdowns, 14th at running back. Now, Kenneth Walker isn't necessarily this prolific pass-catching running back, but he's still going to get a decent amount of targets every single game, and if Geno Smith dumped the ball off to him 4 or 5 times in one every couple of games, it wouldn't really surprise me at all. Now, you might be thinking, Nick, why do you not like Kenneth Walker? Because now Rachaad is gone. He is on the Philadelphia Eagles. My worry about Kenneth Walker really doesn't have much to do with the skill set that I believe Kenneth Walker possesses. Now, if you look at his efficiency stats, it was nothing amazing last year, but it wasn't like he was terrible. 4.1 true yards per carry, 38th at running back, 4.8 yards per touch, 29th. He had a 7.5% breakaway run rate, 8th at running back, and he had 757 yards created, 50.5 per game, 12th at running back. So again, I'm not here to necessarily just take a dump on the chest of Kenneth Walker and say that this guy is a garbage running back, but when you consider where he is going and how high he is going in fantasy football drafts, do I really want to pay that draft capital for a running back that right now I am pretty worried about? Because it would not shock me at all if Pete Carroll dove into the well in the 2023 NFL draft coming up really soon. We're knocking on the door of the NFL draft, and if they selected another running back. Another worry of mine is that it wouldn't shock me at all because Geno Smith has been pretty bad his whole career. I know he had comeback player of the year, this, that, and the other thing last season, but would it shock anyone if Geno Smith had a bit of a downward spiral, if this offense kind of sputtered off in a little bit, and then Kenneth Walker ends up not being as good? So again, this take really doesn't have much to do with the skill set of Kenneth Walker because, again, I do feel very strongly that this guy is a really fucking good running back. I think he's really talented. It has to come down to the fact that I'm worried about the Seahawks potentially drafting another running back. And I'm not saying they're going to draft Bijan Robinson in the first round, right? They have a really high pick in the first round. I don't think that's what's going to end up happening. But would I be shocked if they drafted a running back in like the 3rd, 4th round who could contend with Kenneth Walker and kind of hurt him from being a workhorse running back? Kind of take away that value, because once Rachaad went down, it was all steam ahead. He was the conductor of the offense. Kenneth Walker was choo-choo all aboard the train, right? He was the workhorse running back on the team, and that could go away. Again, I worry about Geno Smith potentially falling off the edge of the earth a little bit, and then Kenneth Walker kind of falls with him, right? Geronimo. So, again, I like Kenneth Walker. the player. The situation scares me a decent amount. And you are paying out the ass for him. Running back 6. That is just way too much. Now, again, his underdog ADP is picked 22.5. If Kenneth Walker is the RB6 off the board in a normal redraft league, because on underdog fantasy, I understand fully, people love wide receivers. So if you're RB6 off the board, Kenneth Walker might be pick 11, 12, 13 in a regular redraft draft, assuming that he's running back 6, which is far too high in my opinion. I don't want anything to do with Kenneth Walker at this price. Now, if we get past April and, they actually don't draft a running back, then, you know what, maybe I'll hop back on the Kenneth Walker bandwagon. But right now, I am definitely very cautious when it comes to drafting him on Underdog Fantasy. Right now, if you're new to Underdog Fantasy, best ball drafting platform. I draft on there all the time. If you watch my mock draft videos, my draft videos, over the last month, I've done one every single week. I do it on there. If you click on the link in the video description down below, you deposit $100, they will give you an additional $100 first match deposit bonus. It's up to $100, so if you deposit $25, they'll give you an additional $25. Just a 100% first deposit match up to $100. So at number 2, we have one of my guys, a guy that I love. I love this player, but it just seems like back-to-back years, we are about to get kicked in the cock if we draft this guy. DeAndre Swift, running back of the Detroit Lions, ADP, running back number 18, pick 67.8, running back 22.5 PPR last year, playing in 14 games with 8 games started, and RB 19 in half PPR points per game, tied with Steelers running back Najee Harris. He had 99 carries on the season, which is shockingly low, 7.1 per game, 43rd at running back, 542 rushing yards, 38.7 per game, 37th at running back, 70 targets, 5.0 per game, 10th, 48 receptions, 3.4 per game, 12th, 389 receiving yards, 27.8 per game, 11th, and 8 total touchdowns, 16th at running back. If I was to compare DeAndre Swift's skill set to any running back in the NFL, it would be Alvin Kamara, aside from the fact that DeAndre Swift doesn't appear to want to get into fights in nightclubs in Las Vegas. So DeAndre Swift is a player, again, that I love. I love the upside of a running back that can take the ball to the house from any point in the field. That is an excellent pass catcher. Austin Eckler light, Alvin Kamara light, right? DeAndre Swift is that guy, and he is that good. 4.9 true yards per carry, 8th at running back, 6.3 yards per touch, 2nd at running back, 8.1 breakaway run rate, 5th at running back, 673 yards created, 48.1 per game, 18th at running back, and he had a 17.4% dominator rating. And for a running back, the dominator rating is a running back's percentage of total team yards and team touchdowns generated on offense, 33rd at running back. Now, last year, the quote-unquote bubonic fucking plague basically hit the Lions offense because Dan Campbell got his rocks off on giving the rock to Jamal Williams on the goal line. They'd knock on the door. DeAndre Swift might make 7 defenders miss. They get to the 3-yard line, and Jamal Williams, like a fucking bulldozer, like the wrecking ball in Miley Cyrus's music video from all those years ago. What is that, like 10 years ago at this point? I came in like a wrecking ball. Yeah, that's what fucking Jamal Williams did, right? He'd come in, he'd jam the ball into the end zone, and then bada bing, bada boom, DeAndre Swift gets cucked out of a touchdown. Now, in the offseason, I was praying to the football lords above. Jamal Williams, it seemed like he wasn't going to be back with the Lions, and I thought, hallelujah. Hallelujah, this is going to be amazing. DeAndre Swift's going to be back as the RB1 on the Lions. There's not going to be as much competition. Sure, they'll bring someone in, but they won't be as good as Jamal Williams, right? They're going to let Jamal Williams go, give him the virtual stiff arm, see you later, pal. But no, as the story concludes, we get David Montgomery. David Montgomery. Now, I know the opinion of David Montgomery by a lot of people. It's not like people think David Montgomery is amazing, right? I was someone who's a big fan of David Montgomery entering into the NFL out of college. I thought that he was productive when given the opportunity. Sure, he never really lived up to the expectations of myself and what some of the David Montgomery truthers believed, but he also wasn't some garbage can, right? And if We're calling a spade here. David Montgomery is probably better than Jamal Williams is, given the current age of both players. Jamal Williams is definitely older. So when we're looking at this situation, they bring in David Montgomery. And if they put David Montgomery in the exact same role that they put Jamal Williams in, which wouldn't shock me one bit, DeAndre Swift is going to have a decent season. He's probably going to finish as running back 20, 21, 22, right? He's going to be a solid RB2, right? But the problem is his upside. And even when I'm drafting a running back at running back number 18, which is where DeAndre Swift's coming off the board right now in underdog fantasy drafts, I'm searching for that upside. I'm searching for that league-winning upside. Can I see DeAndre Swift being a league winner if him and David Montgomery are able to stay healthy all season? The answer is no. The answer is no, because I think David Montgomery will be propelled into that Jamal Williams scenario, and we are going to see DeAndre Swift get basically bent over a table and fucked without the use of lube by the offense. The offense is going to screw him over because David Montgomery is good enough. And again, this isn't me giving the metaphorical gawk 9,000 to David Montgomery. It's just me saying that what I saw from this offense last year in Detroit is that they're going to use 2 running backs and they're going to use a goal line back, and David Montgomery's build is much more of a goal line back than DeAndre Swift, and that sucks. Now, I hope, for the sakes of the fact that I love DeAndre Swift, that DeAndre Swift is able to break out of this, right? He's healthy all year, and he just curb stomps David Montgomery out the offense. That's what I hope. But do I think that's what's going to happen? The answer is no, probably not. And the final running back to discuss in today's video is Rachaad with 2 A's White, running back of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, ADP running back 29, pick 93.9. Now, I know what some people might be thinking. Nick, Leonard Fournette's gone. Uncle Lenny's gone. Playoff Lenny's gone. It's Rachaad White time, baby. Sure. Might be. Or they, just like with Kenneth Walker, they might draft another running back. I think it's much more likely that the Bucs draft a running back. Rachaad White was a 3rd round NFL pick. It's not like the Bucs are sold into him, right? It's not like they're stuck with him. Again, RB 29, ADP, pick 93.9. Running back 38.5 PPR last year. RB 51.5 PPR points per game. This offense last year at points looked like snails trying to have intercourse, right? Incredibly slow, right? The offense wasn't able to move the ball with Tom Brady. Now they bring in Baker Mayfield. I think this team wants to tank. Choo-choo, they're on the tank train. They want to lose. So they bring in Baker. They have Kyle Trask. This is an offense that is going to stink to high heaven. This is an offense that is going to reek. And when you have an offense that sucks, that's bad, what are they going to have to do late in games? They're going to have to throw the football. And you want to know who doesn't benefit very much from throwing the football? The running back. Now, again, Rachaad White is not this running back that can't catch passes, right? It's not like Rachaad White has butterfingers. It's not like Rachaad White's dog shit at catching passes. 58 targets, 3.4 per game, 12th. 50 receptions, 2.9 per game, 11th. But with Baker or Kyle Trask at the helm, how much can you trust this offense? Like, how many times can Rachaad White get the ball every game? 129 carries, 7.6 per game, 36, 481 rushing yards, 28.3 per game, 41st. 58 targets, 50 receptions, 290 receiving yards, and 3 total touchdowns. And sure, he's going to be the running back 1 as of right now. But the guy was as inefficient as it gets. Not effective at all. 3.6 true yards per carry, ranks 65th at running back. 4.3 yards per touch, 48th. 455 yards created, 26.8 per game, 31st. And an 11.2% dominator rating, 47th at running back. Now, can he make the second-year leap? Could he be more effective? Could he, instead of 3.6 true yards per carry, get up to like 4? Sure. But when I look back at what Rachaad White did in Tampa Bay, if you look back and watch the tape, while he wasn't just shit the whole entire time, when you put the tape in perspective, with the scenario that this team is going to be in, with the fact that this team is going to be dust, I don't know how you can reasonably like Rachaad White. I just don't get it. Now, again, I understand if they don't draft a running back, maybe you talk yourself into him. But, like, his ceiling? Like, not very high, in my opinion. Not very high. I don't think he's all that talented of a player. I could see him having a couple of games where he gets you at 10 points, right? Where it's like, oh, I have a bye week, couple bye weeks, or, oh, my running back's injured, let me throw Rachaad White, and then he does okay. But I don't see Rachaad White magically going from RB 38 in half PPR, RB 51 in points per game, and magically becoming the guy, like this phenom that you need to win your fantasy league on a Bucs team that, again, is dying dead in the fucking water. Dead in the water without Tom Brady. Their offensive line isn't that great either. So I'm out on Rachaad White as of right now. So again, my way too early running backs to avoid running backs. I'm fading right now Kenneth Walker of the Seattle Seahawks, DeAndre Swift of the Detroit Lions, and Rachaad White of the Bucs. Now again, things could change by late August, early September when you're doing your fantasy football draft. So if you are new to the channel and you enjoyed this video, you had a fun time, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. I would appreciate it a ton. I love you guys all so much. Hope you have a great guys day. And as always, good boy.